Right now, I got a headache. I'm so worked up this morning.
All right, so when they called us, I don't know what I said, probably very little.
Call us for what?
When they called us for the other charge.
Again?
No. I said, I don't know what I'd said. So I said we were going to talk about covalent naming, but that's really the only thing I remember. We're going to do the stock system. So the stock system is what you've been doing Thursday, Friday for homework, and what we did the other. Okay? The biggest thing that's going to be different today is we're going to have to figure out when things have been reduced and when they've not been reduced. So if you think back to one opening question we did on Friday, I put one in there just to sort of give you a hint as to what we were going to do today. Okay? So before we go too far, how can you tell if something is covalent? Does anybody remember doing that on Wednesday? How can you tell if something is covalent? Very good, Catherine. Very good. All right, covalent is two non-metals. Now, the biggest thing you have to keep straight about, the reason I keep pointing this out, okay, is covalent compounds can be named with both, and this is the key, both the stock and the prefix system. So the two systems we're going to talk about today. Okay? All right, covalent can be named with both stock and the prefix system. Ionic can only be named with stock system. Okay, that's the downside to what we're talking about. Okay, covalent compounds can be named with both stock and the prefix system. But ionic can only be named with the stock system. And this is a huge, huge issue for students. And why I asked you how to identify covalent compounds. Because you've got to be able to recognize a covalent compound. Because if it's covalent, you can name it two different ways. But if it's ionic, you can only name it how many ways? One. Because after I teach you old system with the prefixes today, several of you will be like, Ms. Wall, I like that way. Don't make me use that stock system stuff. I want the prefixes. But the prefixes can only be used for what kind? Covalent. Which kind of compounds are we going to see more often? What do you think? We're going to see ionic most of the time. Yeah, non-covalent. That's true. They're going to be not covalent. They're going to be ionic. Most of the compounds we're going to see this semester are going to be ionic compounds. So even though it might be easier to use prefixes, we're not going to get those kind of compounds. We're going to get ionic compounds that have to be named with the stock system. So I'm telling you up front, if you're one of those people who says to me, Ms. Wall, it's hard for me to keep them straight. I'm going to get them confused. Which one should you learn? Which one's more important for your success in my classroom? The stock system. Okay? You're going to miss like two questions on the test. You're going to flunk one quiz this week, and you're going to miss two questions on the quiz, or the test, which is 4 points you're going to have to take a loss on.
How you know that?
I'm telling you now, I wrote the test. Okay? I wrote the quiz. Okay? In the grand scheme of things, the quiz isn't going to have that much impact on your grade. Yeah, it's going to make you feel bad when you get your quiz back. but it's not going to hurt you on the test, but by 4 points. The stock system, if you do it wrong, you flunk the test on Friday. It's 40 points to the test, or a little more, if you can't do the stock system. This is the key to passing my class. This is not. But it's part of the curriculum, so I have to teach it. Okay? You got me? All right, so let's talk stock system first. All right, first of all, CO2. How do you know it's covalent?
2 capital letters.
2 capital letters makes it binary. Okay? So let's talk about the difference here. All right, that's 2 capitals. All right, 2 capitals makes it binary. All right, what makes it covalent? Carbon and oxygen makes it what? 2 different what kind of things? You said it right first time. Don't take a guess yourself. What did you say the first time? I thought you said it. 2 nonmetals. I thought that's what you said a second ago. All right, you have 2 nonmetals. Now, when you look over there on the periodic table, you see the yellow and the orange. Carbon's in the yellow, oxygen's in the yellow, right? That makes them 2 nonmetals, which is what makes it covalent. Okay? That's how you know it's covalent. We know it's binary because it had 2 capitals. So, if we know it has 2 capitals, what ending, before I even tell you what we're going to do, do you know we're going to put on the end of it? IDE. You're just going to have IDE on it. All right, so let's follow our steps that you did in your homework on, I don't know, probably this morning or late last night, if you did it. This morning, okay? So, that was quick. Did y'all have a snack?
Yeah.
Wait, are you just getting started?
Yeah.
You've missed 1 slide, and then that. No, I'm not going back. You just leave a little space. Now, so if we want to write the name in stock system, all right, what is the first thing you did in your homework?
Look up our symbol.
Okay, so what's the first symbol's name? So you write carbon. Okay? All right, so then, what's next? All right, why'd you put IDE on the end of it? Now, I need y'all to come in, quietly sit down, and not make a bunch of noise. All right, so why'd you put IDE on the end of it? It's 2 capitals. All right, that's why I said it was important a second ago when Jordan said it was binary. When she said it was binary, that's how we knew it was going to get an IDE ending. Now, this is where last week I told you we were going to have to start figuring out some things. When you look at the formula, we've not had to do this up to this point. Check the second element's oxidation number. Must determine if it was reduced. Okay? This is the new piece that goes with covalent compounds specifically and the stock system. Now, this can happen in ionic compounds too. It's just a lot less likely. We have to check to see if the second element's oxidation number has been reduced. Now, for those of you who came in, you missed a grand total of 1 slide. So if you leave a little space, somebody in here can give you that information when we're practicing. If you write really big, leave half a page. If you don't write really big, you probably don't need more than 1/3 of a page of space. And it is on the YouTube video if you want to hear what we said about it. So, if we look up the second element's oxidation number, who is the second element?
Oxygen.
Okay, so what's oxygen's oxidation number on the sheet? Okay, so in our formula, we should have a -2, and it should be right here. Is there a -2 right there?
No.
No, that tells us it was reduced, okay? Because there's no 2 right here, that tells us it was reduced. Now, in order for us to figure out the Roman numeral, if there is a Roman numeral, we have to do the original formula. So first of all, do we need a Roman numeral?
Yes.
How do we figure it out? How'd you do it this weekend?
We need a number.
The oxidation.
Where'd you look?
On
On the blue table. So does carbon have more than one oxidation number listed on the sheet? Yes. So we're going to need a Roman numeral. I'll tell you a secret. All covalent compounds need a Roman numeral. All covalent compounds, when you look them up on the blue card, have more than one oxidation number listed beside their elements. Okay? So it's going to need a Roman numeral. The question is, what Roman numeral? Yes. Now, why is it a 4? Here's the shortcut to figure it out. This 2 should be right here, right?
Yeah.
All you have to do is take that 2 and multiply it through the subscripts. So what's 2 times 1? What's 2 times 2?
Oh,
So what number came from the carbon?
4.
Roman numeral 4. The hardest part for most people is figuring out, was it reduced or not? Okay? Are you with me? I got Kathleen nodding yes. The rest of y'all look like a blank slate. All right. Can we try another one? Okay. Does everybody have what they want off this board? Yes?
Can I do for sure?
I don't care. You want a picture of the last one while you're taking pictures?
no, sorry.
Thank you, Miss Wall. No, wait, I'm not gonna worry.
I don't have that. I never worked.
You don't
Right,
know.
thank you.
Wow. That's like a basic skill a man needs.
I know, but I've never looked at that.
That's sexy.
Huh?
Everyone.
I feel like it's good. Like, maybe better than all that.
Every man should what?
Know how to tie a tie.
I know how to tie a
I
tie.
don't know how to do that. I never worked with.
Yeah, for sure. You know, probably not woman.
Here, do a demonstration for everyone.
Huh?
Do a demonstration.
All right. I had a couple of
Why
times.
don't you call your phone?
Really, we do not need a demonstration at this moment in
They all
time.
needs a demonstration.
What was the one? What was
All right.
inside
All right.
Make sure this is half your
Shh,
number.
I do not need that at this moment. Nor does she. We have other things to do. You can do that in second period.
I was listening.
Now, suppose we have one like PI5. All right. And we want to write its name. Again, we're doing it in stock. So if we write it in stock, the biggest issue we have is, for most students, is figuring out, was it or was it not reduced? So if we're writing its name, just like you did over the weekend in your homework or on Friday when you did the pink construction paper, what is P? So phosphorus. What's I?
Iodine.
All right, so it's iodine. Now, ask yourself, is it 2 capital letters?
Yes.
So what do you put on the end? ID, same rules. Okay, now, if you look up phosphorus, it will have more than one oxidation number. So we are going to need a Roman numeral. But, like I told you, if you want to use the shortcut, all covalent compounds are going to need a Roman numeral. So the question is, was it reduced? So when you look up I, what is I's oxidation number on the blue card? What?
-1.
-1. So when you look right here, what number does it have right there? So it is a 1 there, and there's a 1 there. So was it reduced this time?
No.
No. This time it is not reduced. Now, this is where people struggle. So let me go back. Okay? See how it's a 2? Is there a 2 right here?
No.
That was reduced. There's a 2 for an oxidation number, and there's not a 2 in the formula. This time, it was a 1 right here, and what's right there? A 1. So it was a 1, and it is a 1. Okay? That's not reduced. So What number came from the P in the formula? A 5. So, what Roman numeral am I going to use? A 5. It's phosphorus 5 iodide. Okay? Here's another example. Okay? Here, I got 2 of them. All right. What's AS? Arsenic. It's a poison and ant and rodent killer. Also used by Blanche Taylor Moore to kill multiple husbands. Unfortunately, once they figure it out, it's very traceable. She was on death row for a long time before she died. Say what's the 18th?
Teachers, in order to allow students an opportunity for the grab and go, those students who wish to get a grab and go ticket, please give them those. We are still going to be in first period, so a bell will ring for you to allow the students out of your class that need to go and get a grab and go. Once they get their grab and go, they are to report back to your class.
Let me get
The
this.
schedule as posted will stand. Our first period will end at 10:50, and second period will be from 10:55 till 12 o'clock. Third period, 12:05 to 2:15, lunches as stated. Fourth period, 2:10 to 3:30. That is in the newsletter that was created by Mrs. Henson. So the only alteration to the schedule today will be that at 10:15, a bell will ring to allow students in your class an opportunity to go to grab and go. And those students are to quickly go to grab and go and report right back to your class. Thank you.
We don't need a pass.
Oh, really? I figured you'd been on. How old is she?
Oh, the passes for you.
Take that back. Wait, tell her not dead yet. She's in her 80s.
To allow you
So
to
sad.
Yeah, well, the passes, yeah, allow you out of
Oh,
class.
so I need
But it's
to
actually for,
Tasha,
yes.
Ashaya,
Daniela. I forgot my
Victoria, Daniela.
name.
I feel like Miss Wall wants to kill us all right now.
Who else was on? Gordon.
Yeah.
I need one.
Should touch mine.
With I.
Because I'm just
Who else?
hungry.
Lewis.
Thank you.
Wait, what's the
You can hand these out.
Oh, all right. We're fine with
Miss
that.
Wall?
I didn't get
Why
one.
did you annotate the short story? Miss Wall,
What?
can I have one annotated?
Yes, dear. I'm still working.
Oh,
Tweet
that's
what's
going
on.
back.
I find that so dumb.
You don't get to like a very.
You don't have to-
Hey,
Who else wants one?
Hey, Miss Williams.
I mean,
Really?
Huh?
I didn't annotate the last name, because I haven't read it.
Somebody did it.
all right. Hand them out. See who else I still need to write one for.
I'm sorry.
Just stand there.
Who
else? Either did you want one? I didn't do one for you.
Yeah, well, boy, he's crushing it.
I didn't write one for Catherine or David.
Stop eating. I'm glad.
I never wrote that down.
I didn't do one for Emma, Nathan, or Priscilla. Anybody else?
It better be something good for breakfast.
I know, right?
We'll be hurt. I'm gonna walk right back.
Wait, today's Monday?
You need one?
Yeah. Well, you gave
If
me
it's
two.
not good, Miss Wall, I'm coming right back.
With one.
There's one for Alexa.
Stop finesse it.
Here's one for, yo, Tasha, here's one for Alexa.
She just made me.
I tried to get you before you sat down. Alright, so before she rings the bell at 10:15, alright, so we have arsenic, and we have O, which is oxide. Alright, and why do we add IDE, Danielle?
Because it's binary.
Okay, so has this one been reduced?
No,
No, how do you know?
because, yeah.
That's right. So when we say this is -2, what do you see right there? The 2. It is there. It is a -2 oxidation number in what is written in the formula. The two is in the formula. It didn't cancel out. So what number came from the arsenic?
5.
Then that's the Roman numeral that we're going to write there. Now, look at SO3 to see how it's different. All right, S is what? No, it's not sulfite. That is a polyatomic ion. And to be sulfite, it would need a -2 at the top. So it's not a polyatomic ion. S is sulfur. O is oxide is binary. Now, was it reduced?
Yes.
Yes, because O has a -2. And is there a 2 right there?
No.
No. So we need what it was originally. So again, take the 2 and do what with it?
Multiply.
Multiply it through. So S has a 2.
Oh.
Look, you dumb thing.
What happened? Oh.
S2. O has a 6. So sulfur was originally a what?
2. 6.
A 6. So it was sulfur 6 oxide. Are you with me on that? Say what now? This one was not reduced because the 2 is here written in the formula. This one was reduced because there's the 2 written in the formula.
So you just do 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2.
Yes, Alexa.
So you're multiplying that 2 and 3?
Yes. Basically, I'm multiplying this 2 through those subscripts. So 2 times the 1 that's here is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm multiplying the 2 through all the subscripts. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So while you're working, and they're going to ring a bell in a minute, I want you to name you're supposed to ring at 10:15.
Class in that first period into 10:50.
50. She got it.
Yeah, we actually get out here at 10:50.
So like forever.
No.
And you might want to leave a little space because we're going to come back to these and name them the second way after we name them the stock system. Remember, for those of you who were not here, we said covalent can be named stock system and with a prefix system. And you were here.
Oh, no.
Not that I'm going to hold that against you, but you were here. All right, name those 6. If they ring the bell while you're working on that, those of you with the breakfast things, go get the breakfast and then get back here and name those 6.
Oh, it's reduced.
Like the best one.
Of what?
All the words.
That's my this wall. I think I have an issue.
What?
My eyeball is stuff. Like it stops and then I'll start back. But I don't think you can see it, but I can feel it.
So what?
Oh, it's twitching.
Huh?
My eyeball is
It's twitching. Mine does it all the time under my left eyeball.
No, mine's like the actual eyeball.
I don't want to tell you. Go to my daughter.
She don't care about your life.
Most likely.
I'm not a medical professional.
A license.
I'm not licensed by any stretch.
Me either. Now get the sign for me to quit school.
True.
This bill is only for grab-and-go students, please.
No.
It's not.
I didn't send the first one yet.
Is that a bell?
I've been to.
I don't know.
You don't want to know that. Wow.
She's bad at it.
Who are you sending this to? Oh, just to this part. Oh, okay. You don't get anywhere. Go ahead. Send it. I had no dog in this fight, but I have retired. I have retired. How many did you keep for grab and go?
I made it. I was like, wow. I was like, none of you asked for grab and go on a normal day.
I know. I get maybe 3 or 4. if we want
I
to
get
grab and
like 3, yes. And I had half the class. That's fast. You better be right back.
go. Well, I enjoyed the assembly with your blessings behind me.
Oh, that was fun, sure.
I don't ever want to go to another assembly again.
How was that?
Hell. He wasn't quiet for a minute. Not once. Was he quiet?
I haven't only had it once. I thought.
It was awful.
I didn't keep it for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you had me.
Bless.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be right back.
It's a good test.
Yeah, I just got your name.
Yeah, I've got the,
Like, they're all right there. I sent you this. And she was like, well, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I said, but I heard you replaced. They replaced them.
which one are you carbon? Carbon, iron. Yeah, I got carbon 4.
There you go.
So I said, you look at all the historical stuff, I said, I'm just trying to look at the other stuff, I said, I'm trying to look at, we're looking at historical, I said, I'm trying to look at something else, just to make a big picture. Like, yeah, I said, yeah, I told her. He said, well,
Oh,
he said, you are. Yeah. She did, she's like, yeah. She's like, oh, she said, not mad, and he's like, oh, she's like, not mad, you know. She's like,
phosphorus.
yeah.
-3
The mirrors are, that could be mine, because
They're off the chain today.
so he was, I'm coming. He was.
We didn't need to do this, did we?
No, I moved it to tomorrow.
Why go out in the hall? In. You are supposed to be going on the inside. I know y'all ain't going that gallery walk. Whoa. You going? You're done.
So I'll be here today till about 4:15. I'll be here tomorrow. I've got a meeting with Dr. Phillips, but I can let you work and you can ask questions. I'll be here Thursday. Okay. Okay.
So it was pouring down rain, and before they came on, they were playing Bohemian Rhapsody. And it was an outdoor theater, but they were playing my song.
I have a question,
So,
Ms. Walsh.
Yeah.
I have a question about the
Which one?
carbon
Uh-huh. Was it reduced?
That's my question.
What oxidation number does O have?
O has -2.
Do you see a 2 in the formula?
Yeah. So,
Do you see a 2 up there?
no.
So it was reduced.
Can we write that in the normal?
Mm-hmm.
That's my top, like, 3 favorite songs.
Wait, that's what I'm going to be right? What it was reduced to, the number it was reduced to?
No, you write the original number, what it was after it was reduced.
I'm having trouble with the CO and the PCO. Like, I got the elements, like it's carbon and oxygen.
I was gonna say, where's the food?
Oh, right here.
Okay.
Muffins. I like muffins.
Alright, so what's the question number now that we know it's muffins dry?
So I understand all of them except for the last two on the right column.
Oh, these red tastes like
In
sour.
CO, was it reduced?
I thought they were like, it tastes like soda.
Do you want these?
Alright, what's oxidation?
Do you want them? Do you want them?
Yeah.
Do you see a 2 in the formula?
No.
Then it was reduced.
It's like candy.
Now, you guys need to work while you're eating, because we're gonna go over those very shortly. We have 2 more things to do by 10:50. What are they?
They're the Sourlicious golden
Sour
raisins.
lips.
I wouldn't eat raisins if they were the last food on the planet.
I would eat them if they were like covered in yogurt. I love yogurt.
Oh, yes. I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Covered in
Do you
chocolate,
want them?
much less that.
No, I'm good. I don't want anything that says Sourlicious.
Okay, I'll be extra nice to you for the rest of the day if you eat one. Like, I'll be like the sweetest person ever.
Oh, that wasn't open, bro.
Goodness.
Wait,
Love
wait,
them.
I'm sure you eat, you know, I
Like
don't
a break.
Okay.
I mean, it's good, but it's like dry.
It's
What
disgusting.
is
Like
that?
sand.
Sourlicious orange raisin.
know.
It tastes like sand.
No.
I wouldn't eat raisins if they were
Right.
last food on the planet,
Why didn't I get it?
much less orange or sour.
I'm gonna still be the sweetest person to you.
In January 3rd, it'll be a
You
year
suck.
That's not very nice.
Sorry.
Wow.
Cause like, I don't really.
Oh, you guys.
The carbonation.
I have to drink those like
Oh, I
every
missed
time
that.
I do have to fancy much.
I don't drink soda. Except,
I don't know what the next big step for me will be. A year without soda, what the next year should be.
Year without soda is not hard.
No,
but
but I need a challenge.
cereal.
That's a very important right here.
Candy.
No,
I think
I couldn't drop candy because dark chocolate.
I'm so dumb. There's a trash can over here.
Oh, shoot.
Oh my gosh, you guys, my mom
Whoa.
went to the store yesterday and we got some 86% dark chocolate.
Have you ever had
Oh,
the
but that's just
94%?
like bread.
Yeah.
That's the kind my dad got.
Dark chocolate
It's okay. Like, I only like it. It has like a little bit of like.
so good. I found 100% once and that was a little too
I'm
much.
paying
I
for
need
that.
more.
They got enough pizza.
Huh? Oh. I let you say I did the pizza.
Oh, I think I'll
Pizza is like everything.
I cannot do pizza.
Huh?
You know, some people dunk their pizza in full milk.
That's what people do.
Oh my
They
gosh,
do
that's so
something.
stupid.
They got a pizza and give it the chocolate sauce.
That's how I figured it out.
It's like,
Well,
what?
that's
It
just
doesn't
one
make
third.
sense.
Alright, so if we look at the first one,
Huh?
I can't wait on y'all to just yap. So if N2O5 is the compound you're naming, was it reduced?
No.
No. So nitrogen,
Mario.
oxide, and what Roman numeral do you use if it was not reduced?
5.
Put a 5. All right, SiO2, was it reduced? Yes. There's a -2 for oxygen, and is it right there? Is it right here in this spot where it's supposed to be? No, it's not there, which is what tells you it was reduced. So silicon and oxide. Now, because it was reduced, you need the original formula. So take the 2 and multiply it through the subscripts. So Si, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. So what number came from the Si? Now, the third one, I didn't give you an O. What's iodide's oxidation number?
One, negative one.
It's a -1. So when you look up the -1, what is right here? It's a 1. So if it's a 1 and it's still a 1, was it reduced? No. So carbon, iodide, and what's the Roman numeral going to be? Roman numeral 4. All right. Was SO2 reduced? What y'all think? I heard one answer out there.
Yes.
I should hear more than one voice. Sulfur, oxide, and since y'all said yes, I need the original formula. So -2, I have nothing there. So what was it originally? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So Roman numeral 4. All right. Several people asked me about CO while y'all were getting breakfast. CO is carbon and oxide. All right. What's oxygen's oxidation number?
2.
It's a 2. Do you see a 2 right there?
No.
So it was reduced. So what was it originally? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is
2.
So it used to be C2O2. So what number came from carbon?
2.
Roman numeral 2. All right. And the last one, chlorine's oxidation number is a 1. So what's right here? 1. So it was a 1. It's still a 1. So was it reduced?
No.
No. So phosphorus
3.
and chloride. And what number came from P?
3.
Mm-hmm. So Roman numeral 3. Questions about the stock system?
Formula for carbon monoxide.
Huh?
What's the chemical formula for carbon
CO. That's old system naming. That's what we're going to talk about.
Wait, hold up.
Cool.
So it's not CO2?
CO2 is carbon dioxide.
Oh, she said oxide.
She said carbon monoxide.
Oh.
That's stuff that'll kill you.
Oh, I didn't try it.
All right. Questions about stock system. Now, I'm going back to the first slide to emphasize something again to the people who were here and to point out again for the people who will get it out of their notes because they weren't here.
Wait, let me write it
Bless you.
down. Yes. Okay.
I was so long.
All right. So, again, listen up. Tashawn, shut up. Covalent compounds can be named how many ways? 2. All right. Non-metals, all non-metals can be named stock system and old system with the prefixes. So your carbon dioxide, your carbon monoxide come from being able to be named 2 ways because they're covalent. Now, this is where we get into trouble right here. Ionic compounds, which is what we spend 90% of our time with in here, our ionic compounds can only be named with a stock system. Those are elements with what kind of elements? Or compounds with what kind of elements? They have to have what in them? Metals. As soon as we put a metal on the front of it, it can only be named with a stock system. So what I said while some of you were gone was, if you know that you can't keep these 2 straight, which one do you need to know better? The stock system. Okay? Because as soon as we do prefixes, some of you are going to be like, oh, I like that way better, Ms. Wall. I don't want to do that stock system stuff. I want these prefixes. And as soon
Grab
as
and go has now ended. All students should be in your classroom in the next 30 seconds. Thank you.
So as soon as you start putting in these prefixes and what you did last night for homework, all you've done is wrong. Okay? You cannot put prefixes on a metal. Now,
As a reminder, students are still in first period until 10:50. Students are still in first period until 10:50. Please follow the schedule that was sent out by Ms. Henson in the newsletter last week and via email. Thank you.
all right. Here are the steps. Number 1, name the first element. Add a prefix if it has a subscript other than 1. Okay? Notice I qualified that. We only add a prefix to the first element if it has a subscript other than 1. Like it has a 2 or a 3 or a 4. If the subscript is a 1, am I going to add a prefix? No. So a lot of times the first element is not going to have a prefix. You'll just name it. Carbon, phosphorus. But sometimes you might have to say dicarbon or tricarbon.
Like carbon dioxide.
Hold on. That's the second element.
So like bicarbonate.
So sometimes on the first element, if there's like a 2 on it, so if it had a C with a subscript of 2 on that first carbon, you would say dicarbon. But if it's just a carbon with a 1 on it, you're just going to name it as carbon. I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. All right, number 2. Name the second element. This time we have to do 2 things. We have to add IDE. No options because they're all going to be binary. And we're going to add a prefix. Doesn't matter how many we have this time. We will add a prefix regardless. It's only the first element we decide if it is or isn't going to get one. The second element always has a prefix. Now, the only thing we have left to do is to talk about what the prefixes are. We need to be able to do 1 through 10. And you have to know them by what's tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you have a quiz tomorrow, you have one Wednesday.
No,
You talking about the form?
I can't remember this stuff.
Tomorrow's on Wednesday's on Covalent. All right, everybody caught up? Now, most of these y'all know. There you go. 1 is mono, 2 is 2, tri is 3, 4 is tetra. That one you might not know. 5 is penta.
remember the tetrahedron?
6 is hexa. 7 is hepta. Nope. Octa, nona, and deca. Okay? So, there might be a couple of them that you don't know. I'd be willing to bet there's no more than 3 or 4 you might have to learn. Okay? Most of them you probably know from math class, or music, or even Spanish class. But there's not a lot in there that you are not already going to know. So don't be like, oh my God, I can't learn by Wednesday.
I feel like you
This Wednesday?
Yeah, this Wednesday. Tomorrow your quiz is on ionic naming, like last night's homework and Friday's lab. That one's just postponed from today because of the messed up schedule. You're having it tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen, and given the number of interruptions we've had, I'm glad I moved it. And Wednesdays is on today's stuff.
both stock and old.
Yes, both stock and old.
I like no no.
I know. Remember? What's that one show? Oh yeah, no. Old lady?
No.
Yesterday I thought it was Saturday.
All right, has everybody got it?
Yeah.
All right. So let's say that we want to write the name for CO2. All right, where does the name come from other than y'all have it memorized? C, being carbon, has how many carbons in the name?
1.
There's only one here, right? Because there's only one, we do not put a prefix on the front of that. We leave the prefix off. The second element has to have a prefix, okay? Must use a prefix here. All right, this one has no prefix because there is only one. Okay, do you see the difference? According to the steps we just wrote down. Now go back. All right, name the first element. Add a prefix if it has more than one. Other than one. I should have put more than one. Instead of putting other than one, I'm going to change this to more. We put more than one. That sounds a little more specific. I know it'll bother Daniela because she wrote it down. All right, so carbon only has a 1. So am I going to put a prefix on the carbon? No. But on the oxide, all right, I'm going to write oxide. I'm going to put my IDE on there. Why again? It's binary. And this time I have to put a what? I have to put a prefix. And why'd y'all say di? It's 2. So carbon dioxide. And that's where carbon dioxide's name comes from. Okay, so everybody got it?
So we put one. We put the number of carbons before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if I do one that has a prefix on the front, okay. So let's say that we do 1204. All right. So this time I have a number on that first element. So I write nitrogen, but this time, how many nitrogens do I have?
2.
So this time I have to put a prefix on the first element because I have more than one. So what do I put on nitrogen? I write di-nitrogen because I need a prefix on the first one. Okay? O is oxide. And I need to put a what on it? A prefix. And y'all said tetra because there is 4. Dinitrogen tetra oxide. We keep both vowels. The only time we drop one is if the vowels are the same, like O and O. We don't write 2 O's side by side, so it sounds like I'm saying moo or anything. Okay? Yeah, like carbon monoxide, we don't have those 2 O's side by side. We drop one of the O's. Questions? All right. Now, I have about 10 minutes, so we need to reverse this.
Okay. So
Yes.
only, like, you need it not in reduced form to do.
Yes, typically a lot of covalent compounds are not always going to be in reverse form because there's also a compound that looks like this that's different. So in covalent compounds, we don't always reduce them. Yeah, so if you have something like that, just leave it like that. They meant to give it to you that way. Okay? And that would be written how if I gave you that?
Nitrogen dioxide.
Mm-hmm, exactly. All right, everybody okay with the prefix system? All right, let's go backwards. Now, the last thing we need to do today to remain caught up with fourth period, because they're not going to wind up with 800 interruptions like y'all have had, is to write formulas from old system. And then I think I will largely have y'all in the same spot. They'll just get more time to practice. Y'all will have to do more at home, unfortunately. Now, this is the part that causes issues, and when you come back tomorrow, I'm expecting y'all to have more questions than you have right now. Because when you get home tonight, some of you are going to be like, what did she say? Does it really work this way? Maybe I didn't really understand what she was talking about. All right? Prefixes equal subscripts. Stop stock system equals oxidation numbers. So, if the stock system is oxidation numbers, we were crisscrossing when we did stock system, right?
Yes.
Prefixes are subscripts. There is no crisscrossing with the prefix system. None.
It's already down there, right?
That's right. But I'm going to give it to you in words. So, suppose I say carbon, tetra, chloride. Okay? The first thing you should be able to say to me is, oh, this is the prefix system, right? So, if that's the prefix system, I know that there's no crisscrossing. I don't need to know an oxidation number. I'm not even going to use my blue card. Okay? So, if that's the prefix system, there's no oxidation numbers. But the problem we have is, what have we been doing for 3 days now? That's right. So the first thing we're going to be tempted to do is grab up that card and find them. But we don't do that. All we do is look at the formula and go, carbon is C. Chloride is Cl. And then we look up here and go, carbon has no prefix equals 1. 1. Tetra means 4, so we write 4. And the answer is CCl4. We don't do any crisscrossing. We don't look up any oxidation numbers. The prefixes literally tell us the subscripts. Okay? But because we've done so much crisscrossing, people automatically want to do what with those numbers? They want to put them at the top, and then they want to crisscross those numbers. But we don't. Think we can try a couple?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Got this.
You got this?
Homework should be easy.
Huh?
I said homework should be easy.
I hope.
I said it now, and I look at it tomorrow, my math computer.
Can I take it down, or do I need to wait? So when you got it, Sean?
I realized the first time I see it, it was like, man. But I get any content, then I go home and everything, I forget.
Yeah, I think
I could go to sleep right now.
honestly, I don't like, I like going home and do stuff.
I think I sit down for like at least 20 minutes, and then do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you do as well?
What?
When you go home, do you like to sit there for like a few minutes?
I would love to, but most evenings I am too busy to sit there. So I hit the ground running when I walk in the door.
You need a vacay.
I would love a vacay.
How about this, before we leave this semester, we're gonna provide the fund for vacay. Hey,
Speak for yourself. Yeah.
Hey, let me finish. And then if you don't want any days off, we will take over your class and we will teach you for a week. And
Yeah, she's gonna have Danielle in charge with all this glass in the classroom.
That is not happening.
We miss all our periods and teach voice.
If you need babysitters, we got you too.
Yeah, she's gonna leave me in charge of the children.
Given that Shelby is the age that y'all are, I don't think she's going to take it well.
How old is she?
She'll be 15 on Wednesday.
I'm older.
Happy early birthday.
Now the other one, you can have him.
Tell her to watch the, you have to live stream this, right? Tell her to watch it while we're in here and don't sing her happy birthday.
Okay.
I mean, Emma will, because Emma has a pretty voice, but I won't.
Is she a sophomore or a freshman?
She's a sophomore.
Jordan, she's great.
Yeah, she's one of the youngest in her class, which she hates.
Me too.
So,
Can't relate.
Male.
all right, so if you will, try writing those really quick in formulas,
I got you.
Really quick.
really quick, because we don't have a long time before she rings the bell on us.
They over there like 5 minutes. All right.
I'm gonna hand out the homework sheet.
Since it's a prefix, I always try to write it on the before one. Like, never mind. Well,
That was about how to remember these symbols.
I'm proud. I haven't had to look one up.
Yeah, I'm challenging myself to write it too. So I messed up.
Victoria, did I give you one?
Today could be.
Whoa,
Right.
number 5.
Document.
Never mind.
Today's a DBQ.
Yes.
For,
He said he wanted to graduate.
he's not 13.
Yes!
We not?
Um,
Dang, we don't have
Come
it.
on, dude. Woo, work.
Joanna said that.
Which one was the homework you like to do?
Guys, you're gonna need to finish these 5 for homework if you don't get them done.
Oh,
You're either gonna need to snap a picture of them or write it down the back of your homework paper at the rate you're going.
It's 10.
The what?
Hey, he said something
Yeah.
about,
Remember, the subscripts tell you the prefix tells you the subscripts. So what now?
Oh, okay.
he said something about somebody in the hospital.
Yeah,
Probably.
so,
Yeah.
but Joanna said he was sick.
might have been a lot.
Ooh, boy.
You know, DBQ.
Oh, my good stuff.
Why don't you still give it to y'all?
I'm gonna tell you which ones.
It's my to-do list on the left. Blank sheet in case I need it.
That's fabulous. You have my 5 done?
Yes, I do.
No.
Alright.
Did you want us to write it down in both?
Of that, you're just writing the formulas.
Oh,
Says
right,
right
what's
Yeah.
the first one?
Yeah, you're just writing the formulas. I gave you the name. So you can tell your
I
brain's
have
on the road.
discovered new music,
Husband, girl. Ready?
I might make it.
Now, if you don't have those 5 done, they're part of your homework. So if I check tomorrow, I'm looking for those 5 along with on the homework sheet. Numbers 2 through 12. Now, let me be clear about the homework, because half of y'all are gonna swear them down, I didn't tell you this. You have to name 2 through 12 in both systems. So if you want, draw a line halfway through the page, and on the left side of the line, do it in stock system, and on the right side of the line, do it in old system. But if I check homework, and you only named it in one system, you're getting a what?
50.
You're getting a 50. I want it in old and in stock.
You said 2 through 12.
2 through 12, that's right. So there's only like 11 questions plus those 5.
I'm gonna give you all 25.
What do you mean all 45?
This is right.
So we do all questions, right?
No, it's-
Yes. Except as iodine, you get fluoride.
Bro,
I can do this all of this.
bro. Did we do all
Change
the,
the element out.
did we do all the questions?
To the 12.
Somebody answer him.
To the 12.
2 through 12.
If we do all the questions, then we get.
No.
No.
I'm gonna do them anyways. 'Cause-
You get extra dollars.
Yeah, because last time, like.
Alright, go ahead, on my calculators, what am I missing? Looks like I
Oh,
missed
you
one.
see mine?
Why'd you get one?
I don't know. That's cool.
You will need one tomorrow, but not today.
Today.
I finally got a binder for this class.
Yeah, I forgot.
Wait, you know what?
What?
That's it.
Because originally I had a folder and a notebook.
What?
I thought that's all I needed.
For what, this class?
Yeah, and then Emma told me that I need some loose leaf papers. So I was like, okay, I'm good about it. That one.
Okay.
Well, me, I got this folder for like 3 of my classes.
I like that.
Thank you. That's why.
I have one and then already good.
And then I got this. It's a refillable notebook.
I
Well, I like that. I should have got that.
I said
Yeah,
the
so you
same
just
thing,
pull it
right?
out and add more paper.
Bro.
And
I
then
like the exact thing.
you can hole punch all your papers.
Hey, yeah,
Have a good rest of your day.
let's go shop. School shop.
Oh, remember, today's the last day for test corrections.
Oh, no.
Oh, Miss Wong?
What?
I have the funds for it.
Okay, I'll be here.
Yeah. I get back on. I do.
Yes, I'm ready today too. And here, so
I'm
I
here.
can annotate my book during her class, so I have a surgery. And it's due 4th period.
Oh, Miss Williams?
Here.
Oh, Miss Williams, I know Miss Williams is sick, but I think she's here now.
Dang it.
Yeah, somebody said she was gonna be here.
She's gonna make us
sick
do work.
a couple days ago, I think last week.
Danielle.
Oh, you're waiting for me. Sorry, I would have hurried up.
What is wrong with me?
Look, I couldn't put my pencil in my finger.
This wall,
Yep.
somebody wrote on your desk and I just wanted to erase it so you know it wasn't me.
Thank you, my dear.
I just-
Bye.
Bye, I'll see you later.
I'll be here.
Oh, it's right, my dog. He's not my team. Horse. Bitch. Stop. Stop. You know it ain't white anymore.
It ain't white.
You got some pen. You got some gum. Excuse me.
I got it.
Where my lady at? That's right.
Grab worksheet, have a seat.
And where she gets this? That was just fabulous.
Could she interrupt class a little worse than she has today?
Right, so we didn't need to do the quiz in first period.
I told my,
So,
my.
We're
that
doing,
we
it's
wrote
applied,
them
so I'm
all.
not really, I'm not worried about it, it's
Well,
fine.
I'm trying to keep it with fourth period, so
Yes.
I had told mine,
understand
I'm
you.
like, we'll probably, and I told them on Friday, it would probably be Tuesday, because I expected class to be jacked up, not quite as jacked up as that was. At 10:15, go get breakfast, and I had 4 kids left in the room. I mean, I just want to pick it up, and what the fuck is wrong with you? Really?
I'm mad at you. So I'm still mad. I said, I told her, I said, I don't even know you. I said, I don't even know you that well, so it's not like you're, one of my favorite kids that I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't even know, but you still can't tell me that, I don't understand. Tell me that he's got to prove himself in a standard class first. Really? Several of these that are sitting here right now ain't gonna get no A's. I can tell you that right now. I can tell you that right now. I know, so I told him, I said, I need to get you to take that first test. If I can take that first test, and if he can at least score better than those 2 kids, then I said, look, he's comparable. So I don't understand how you can say these can and
You can't. I know.
I don't understand. I looked at the EBOS data, so I saw that historical data too. I can see all the way back in 3rd grade. I looked it up this morning. There's something,
How do you think? I got out of all that shit. I mean, when Ward told me Thursday, she's like, yeah, we've already met with Piggott and sat. I was like, last year, I never met with Piggott. I only met with her one time. And I said, you wanted to know why I gave that shit up?
mentor stuff.
Oh, yeah, and the observer, I said, that's one reason I had a meltdown. I said, how do you want me to do a job when you can't even find time in your schedule to have a conversation with me?
Right.
I was done. I said, so done, I not only burned that bridge, I blew that. I said,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm
she
doing
will
now.
not speak to me. And I said, I'm good with it. I said, because you know what? I'm enjoying just coming to school teaching. I said, I might not have the best class for period of physical science. And my fourth period class for physical science next year might suck. Or next semester might suck. But you know what? I'm not doing committees. I'm not struggling to upload lesson plans every week. My website's where it's supposed to be. And I said, I'm not behind. I said, some nights I have to take schoolwork home. Some nights I do it when I take it home. Some nights I don't when I take it home. I said, I'm okay. And I said, come next year, I got to sign a piece of paper that says I'm willing to do the outside work. I said, I'm okay. I said, cause they had just flat pissed me off.
Oh, I'm livid. Now, if those three kids were in there, I would be saying Jack. I wouldn't be saying Jack if you would move those three kids in there. I'd be keeping my mouth shut because I wouldn't know.
Right.
But it's a complete disservice. So I understand his reading might be a little low. So are some of these. You can't tell me these are all in here. They said those two got 60-something on the test. That's not stellar. That test is the same as the CP test. It's the CP test. I just added a short answer section where they had to design and write out a complete experiment to it. They had to tell me the variables, they had to pick a solution, tell me the variables, write out the full procedure, but the multiple choice part was the same as CP. I got a 60-some on it. If I could get him to take the test, like I said, if he could, everybody look. Because she did at one point say, let's wait till the first benchmark and we'll see. And then Thornhill was like, well, but our benchmarks aren't really great tests to gauge that. So I told her,
Exactly. I
so we
mean,
need to get you to take that first test.
most benchmarks are crap.
Yeah, that's what Thornhill told her. That we're like, you. No, Matrix, not tree. We're gonna Matrix.
Okay.